At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Welcome in to Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. I'm Chris Bleck. Jeff Schwartz filling in for Abdalla today here on Sirius XM Channel 375 and all of our great affiliates around the country. We're on the air until 3 Eastern. I'm live from Chicago. Jeff is in Charlotte, North Carolina, and the call and text line today is at 310-840-4910. If you want to join the show, it's a Friday. It's an all-calls welcome Friday, and it's day 2 of the NCAA tournament Friday. Let's take a listen to what took place yesterday in the tournament.
2 seconds left. Thorne's going to put up from half court for the win. No! Off the backboard and heartlessly falls to the court for TCU, who gets a massive win in a final second bucket from Edmonds, 66-64. The Horned Frogs are still dancing in Greenville. It was a major scare from the 16 seed Siena Saints, but the number 1 overall seed Duke is moving on in Greenville, 71-65 after a 13-point second half comeback. BCU back from the dead, down 19 points in the second half, and the Rams keep running into the round of 32 in Greenville, 82-78.
Rebound inside, Martin's got it, ahead Johnston, on the run to the basket, let it in! And the Panthers have reached their highest point. The High Point Panthers stun Wisconsin, 83-82, and High Point will move to the second round.
There you have it. You can listen to all of the action of the NCAA tournament on the Westwood One Sports app. And Jeff, as I bring you in, thanks for joining us today. Thanks for hanging out. And wow, day 1 of the tournament definitely was fantastic.
Glad to be here. It's another day of the tournament. It's interesting because the tournament just sort of gets slow started in the middle of the day. I think people expect when they go to the sports bar for lunch, like there's a ton of games on. That's not really the case. It sort of slow rolls until we get to mid-afternoon Eastern and into late into night when there's a bunch of games on as we're sleeping on the East Coast essentially. So everyone gets an opportunity to watch basketball all day. I watch a ton of college basketball. Yesterday reaffirmed what I always believe about college basketball. It's the only sport that we accept essentially mediocrity and bad play as entertaining, right? Like if I were to tell you that NFL game featured an inordinate amount of turnovers, no offense, and the better team didn't score for the final quarter of the game, we would all be like, that is a terrible football game to watch. I don't want to watch that game. Yet North Carolina scores 3 points in the final 8 minutes of that game, including overtime, and it's like the greatest thing we've watched. Right? We look at Wisconsin, obviously, sort of not doing their best, and the High Point did a great job. By the way, that's really a bad example of that one. Louisville's up 23 and struggles to close the game out, and we watch all these games and. A lot of it's just failure, right? Now, High Point's different. High Point made three-pointers. They made some plays. But for the most part, we accept the mediocrity of college basketball more than any other sport we ever watch. Like, we watch for those moments of meltdown. We watch for those moments where teams are not able to make plays at the end. And I don't know why we accept it. We don't accept it in college football, yet somehow in college basketball, we accept that we're going to have good teams play poorly, and some of that is Cinderella's getting to win, and we like watching that. But that's what we enjoy. We don't enjoy watching Illinois score 105 last night. They were incredible, right? We don't enjoy Houston just dominating. I forget who even played last night. Idaho, right? Like, we enjoy the meltdowns. We enjoy the madness, the craziness, and we just don't accept that in other sports.
Yeah, Jeff, you're totally right about that. As we were sitting here yesterday watching the games while we were talking and hosting the show, I think it was the Nebraska-Troy game. There was a fast break, and the player it was a 2-on-1 fast break, and the lead pass, he blatantly just threw it out of bounds. Wasn't even close to his teammate. And I thought to myself in the moment, that's college basketball.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you're talking about. It's you have an opportunity for a fast break layup, and a player just chucks the ball out of bounds, not even close to his teammate. And I was like, yes, the tournament is here. This is it. The chaos. It's fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a couple of games that before the games get started today, we're like 10 minutes away from the first tip today, day 2 of the NCAA tournament, and you can listen to every game on the Westwood One Sports app. In fact, yesterday afternoon while I was out at the dog park, I was listening to, there's a mix channel in the Westwood One Sports app. So you get all the coverage from all the games. Jason Horowitz does a great job bouncing you from game to game. So I was listening to that yesterday because I like that. I don't like locking in one spot. I like to kind of hear a little taste of everything. So when I take the takeaways from yesterday, to me, High Point beating Wisconsin, obviously, VCU, the comeback over North Carolina. Is there anything else that jumps out at you as something? I know that we all had our attention caught by the halftime score with Duke and Siena, but then Duke kind of showed up, and then obviously they go on to win.
I think the thing with Duke is maybe missing 2 starters is not good. Maybe that's a way to move forward. Hey, you're down 2 of 5 starters. Probably not good, especially when the rest of the group is young, right? If you're missing 2 of 5, but you have this plethora of older players that are your leaders, then okay, you can probably survive that. But when you have these young guys playing their first tournament, you can certainly make the case that it was their first tournament game. Like they're going to be fine. I think they will be fine moving forward. I mean, my takeaway was I think the good teams that we sort of liked appear to be pretty good, right? Like I like, again, this is very biased on what I like. I like Illinois, right? I think their defense is mess sometimes, but they scored 105 points yesterday, and
they showed up.
Started slow in that game. I like Houston to be a Final Four team. They eventually got it going, but it took a little bit of time. But they look like they should yesterday. So Michigan, took Howard again a little bit of time, but eventually Michigan got really, really going in that game. So to me, it was sort of more about maybe the favorites that played really well, because I think this is a tournament that's going to feature a lot of chalk. So when I say chalk, I mean the favorites end up in the Final Four. The favorites are ending up in the Elite Eight. I made a wager under 1.5 teams seeded 13 through 16 that win their game in the round of 64. And I laid a heavy price. It was like minus 200. So I had to bet $200 to win 100. We saw it yesterday. I mean, the 13 to 16 teams weren't even close. It wasn't even close yesterday. Except the Siena one, which I don't know if you want to count that as close because, about 6 minutes left, it was sort of clear Duke was going to win, right?
Yeah.
So, they just weren't. It's sort of uncompetitive, I think, in the lower seeds this year. So that's what I noticed in day one. A lot of underdogs, the public underdogs ended up getting home. I mean, that happens in a given day, but really nothing changed on how I feel about the tournament other than I think the teams I thought would be good showed up.
Yeah, and the big surprise, I guess, the takeaway was High Point beating Wisconsin yesterday. That was the 12-5 matchup, 83-82. High Point wins. They advance to the second round. And their head coach, Flynn Clayman, after the game, it was fantastic. Take a listen to this interview post-game. Flynn Clayman, High Point head coach, after they beat Wisconsin.
Your first NCAA tournament game, Coach Clayman.
It looks pretty obvious to me that high majors need to play mid-majors during the season because they say we ain't played nobody. We played somebody now.
How'd you do it?
Feels unreal because I know how good of a team we had, but nobody would play us, just like they wouldn't play Miami, Ohio. But they got to play us in this tournament.
Coach, you were down by 10 early on. What changed?
We just settled in. We settled in. We got a hell of a team. We settled in.
It was just outstanding. And then Flynn Clayman joined Josh Graham last night on Westwood One Sports Night. This is what he had to say, Coach Clayman had to say about High Point flying in students for the game.
We had hundreds and hundreds of High Point students at our game today, and that's because our university chartered a flight out to have them at our game. And we had the longest distance to travel of any team in the NCAA tournament. And they still got hundreds and hundreds of students to our game, and they're flying another plane out for Saturday to make it even more.
So there you go. With Josh Graham last night. Find the full interview on the YouTube channel for Westwood One Sports Game Night. And Josh did a great job last night talking to Coach Clayman as well. That's outstanding, isn't it, Jeff?
Yeah. So for those who are unaware about High Point University, they do have the money to fly an entire plane full of students out from Charlotte, North Carolina. I would imagine from Charlotte out to, I think, Portland, right, is where they were at.
Yes.
Someone who lives in Charlotte and does fly to Oregon, because I'm an alma mater of an Oregon Duck here. That is a long flight. It's not an easy flight. So I'm trying to sympathize with that. High Point, also furniture capital of the country. If you order a custom piece of furniture, most likely made in the High Point area, just the FYI there. My wife has been up to the market, the High Point market, a number of times here. But look, good for them. It was. I don't know if you got to. Do you listen to Did you get to see the student broadcast?
I saw the students out there broadcast. How cool is that?
It was so much fun, man. Look, this is why we love the tournament, right? As much as I talk about, I maybe root for favorites a little bit more than others do. I don't need to see the upsets to enjoy the tournament, but this was great. I mean, they had that kid pulled up from 35 feet to shoot a three, like down 9, nails it. He made the layup to end the game. He hadn't made a layup in like a year. Like he shoots threes.
Here's the stat. There's no player in the entire country that played more minutes while scoring more points. So it's Chase Johnston. He scored 196 points in the regular season without scoring a 2-point basket. So that was either free throws or 3-point shots for the entire year. His first 2-point shot was that layup to beat Wisconsin. That's a stat. That's a pretty cool stat.
That's just remarkable. All right, think about that. His first 2 was he leaked out in transition there. They missed the shot. The ball was kicked out, and that was a great win for High Point. I do, though, as a gambler myself, I do look for these opportunities, though, to like, who are they playing on Saturday? Just give me the other team. I just, that's the way I look at these. They're playing Arkansas. Arkansas. 117 points on them. Arkansas plays no defense, so they might allow 105 on the other end. But Arkansas is going to score 1 billion points on this High Point team. Like, that's the way my mind works. I like Tennessee today over over Miami of Ohio. I mean, it's just I look at basketball, maybe sport that way, like take the other side when there's upset, but still fun to watch anyway. So very enjoyable. We got a game starting in 4 minutes, I think.
Yeah, Santa Clara, the 10 seed, takes on the 7 seed Kentucky in the Midwest region, and that game will tip off at 12:15 Eastern time. So about 3 minutes from right now, and all of the coverage of the NCAA tournament. Make sure you download the Westwood One Sports app. You can listen to the games. You can choose by region. You can then also find the mix channel, which Jason Horowitz will bounce you around to all of the different games in the NCAA tournament, day 2, the round of 64. I'm Chris Bleck, Jeff Schwartz filling in for Abdalla today. Here on Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. So, Jeff, I'm not sure if you're aware, here on the show, we have a bracket challenge.
Okay.
So Raj Sharon is producing the show each and every day, does a great job. Raj has a bracket, and Abdalla and I have our own bracket.
Okay.
And we call this Beat the Raj.
Okay.
Beat the Raj.
Yes, it's a big deal. Beat the Raj. Okay, so here's the update from I didn't see Raj. We're coming for you, but I've got good
now
news.
you got Schwartz too, probably helping on this. You already had Josh help you. You had Fran Fraschilla help you. How many people do you need to take me down?
Jordan Cornette helped us out. Casey Jacobs,
Laura
he helped us out. Laura
Shay's
was helping.
probably helping now today too.
Everyone's against Raj, all right? So, Jeff, through day 1, here's the update. Bleck and Abdalla, we had 12 wins, okay? So we had 12 teams win yesterday. Raj has 12 wins as well. How about that, Raj? A tie after day 1. That's pretty good.
I think I have 11. I think I have 11. I'm looking at mine right now. I think I have 11 from yesterday. The most important thing, though, this is the most important thing in these challenges, right, is you have to keep your Elite 8 and Final 4 alive, right?
Yes.
Because that's where you get your points. So, if a couple upsets here and there is fine as long as you're able to get your in the end, be able to get your Final 4 still. Who do you guys have winning the championship?
So Raj has Duke, and the Bleck and Abdalla bracket is Arizona. And I would say, to
Duke.
your point, Jeff, the point you just made, the High Point win was a bad win against Raj's bracket because he has Wisconsin advancing to the Sweet 16, although we on our bracket had BYU getting to the Sweet 16 as well. So BYU loses to Texas. So,
yeah, my Sweet 16 is still alive. I just basically went with I think I went with the only upset I had in the round of 32 essentially was I picked UCLA to beat Connecticut. So basically I have all chalk.
Okay.
All the way through. No, I think I have all chalk all the way through. So I'm boring, man. I'm trying to win a bracket. Give me the best teams.
I'm with you too. And I feel like the first weekend is where people really talk about and they enjoy the upsets. But then the cream rises to the top, right? Like the teams who are the best usually are the teams that get to the second weekend. Sweet 16, Elite 8s, and then on your way to the Final 4. It's very rare that there's a lot of unknown surprise teams that make it to that point. Blue Bloods and the best teams in college basketball are usually those teams that advance to the second weekend and on to the Final 4 in the championship weekend. So I'm with you. With our bracket, we have a few upsets here on day 1 and day 2, the Thursday, Friday. But as we get to the weekend, we have a lot of the teams you would expect getting to the Sweet 16 for next weekend.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know why my bracket, I haven't used ESPN. It locked my picks. I can't see
Oh no. Really?
Well, I mean, it shows me who I have winning a game, but it's locked the teams. I guess because they're not actually advancing yet, so I can't. It's hard to read a little bit, but that's I think I'm still pretty much alive everywhere, so that's good news for me because I would like to win my bracket. That would be nice.
Oh yeah, everyone does, and you know how it goes. It's the person in your office that picked based on mascots or the names of the cities that the teams are in or the colors. Those are the people who win the brackets. The people who actually put the work in, those who study. They usually don't win those brackets. It's just how it goes and why everyone loves March Madness.
It definitely goes that way. We did a bracket like with a family bracket here. I don't think my wife filled one. I have a paper ones I did. My kids filled out like on their own. So those are downstairs. I think my wife was going to do one after. She's no idea what's happening. She's not paying attention. So she could do one like after the tournament, and it wouldn't matter. She would have no idea what's happening anyway. So very much. You know, it might be fun to have her do one after the fact and like see if she gets close to, like, she should pay attention a tiny bit. Like, have you paid attention a tiny bit to what's happening in college basketball? Because that'd be very funny. I think she have no idea.
Coming up next, we're going to talk about what's the biggest hole remaining in the NFL offseason for teams. We'll get Jeff's opinion on that next here on Bleck and Abdalla. DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, is built for March. The tournament is unexpected. Rewards are guaranteed. DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering the most generous rewards in the market. With DraftKings, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, you're not betting what might happen. You're betting what's happening. New to DraftKings, just bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code B&A. That's code B&A for Bleck and Abdalla to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets instantly. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. Must be 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bonus bets are non-cash credits that expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer ends April 5th, 2026.
It's tourney time, and you'll hear every game, every upset, every unforgettable moment on the Westwood One Sports app. That's the Westwood One Sports app. This is March. This is your home of the NCAA tournament. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Jeff Schwartz is filling in for Abdalla today. It's Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. What is the biggest roster hole left in the NFL? What's the biggest need for teams around the NFL to fill in here in the offseason? We've seen free agency take place. We've seen a lot of trades take place, and we're about a month away from the NFL draft. So what's the biggest hole? 5 biggest holes remaining on rosters. This is from NFL.com, the 2026 NFL offseason, 5 biggest remaining roster holes. And Jeff, when we kind of think about the teams that still have more work to do in this offseason, the first team that's on the list from NFL.com, it's the New England Patriots and someone to get after the quarterback, an edge rusher. What do you think of that?
They do need that. We saw it last year. The interior guys are great, right? Milton Williams, Barrymore, we saw in the Super Bowl, right? They're able to get a little bit of pressure up the middle, but nothing on the edges, right? If you want to be the defense that, is sustainable, the pass rush, I think, is more important than the secondary, right? Chris Gonzalez is great. He played well in the Super Bowl, but you got to get edge pressure, right? You got to force the quarterback to feel uncomfortable in many different planes, right? Inside, outside, you step up and whatnot. You get out of this pressure. So, yes, they need edge pass rusher. The thing about free agency is that, at least for me, and I think that we're starting to feel this across the NFL too, and teams feel the same way, there's just not a lot of those players available that are impactful enough to really change your chances at a Super Bowl. That's the way I look at free agency, right? It used to be there were a little more of those guys, but teams are re-signing their own guys now at a higher rate, and that makes sense. It's cheaper for the team and the player. Look, if you're with a team for 3 or 4 years and it's going well, and you're entrenched in that community, you might take a little bit less to stay. That's just natural, right? And so teams are teams are doing it. They're re-signing their own guys. Guys are staying a little bit longer. And so you're not getting these impactful free agents. So if you're in New England, I mean, it wasn't like there's great options just hanging out to pay. You don't want to overpay either. And so maybe they trade for Crosby now. That I don't think the Raiders are going to trade him anymore. But there's just not a lot of options. So the draft is always, to me, the way to go. But at 31, I don't know. Messidor maybe. I don't know who's going to be there at 31. Folk. you feel great about in that position. So it's probably going to be a need heading into next year as well.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that the article on NFL.com points out with the Patriots is, sure, it's edge rusher, but also they need a stronger number one wide receiver. They go out in free agency and they get Romeo Doubs, but it's still out there, and we've talked about it this week, that if we're looking at landing spots for A.J. Brown, he would make a lot of sense with the New England Patriots. So we'll keep our eyes on the A.J. Brown situation as the offseason goes along. I'm guessing more rumors and conversation about that will pop up around the draft, even though the report from Diana Rossini last week was that it could take till June 1st before he's moved, if he is moved at all. So it is something to keep our eyes on. And the Patriots going after someone on the defensive line to get after the quarterback is one of the biggest holes out there. Next up on the list on NFL.com, it's the Chicago Bears. And the biggest roster hole, their secondary. Now, I'm in Chicago, Jeff. We broadcast each and every day from Chicago. I'm a lifelong Bears fan. I would argue that this is incorrect. Like, I do see the point, because if you look at the offseason moves for the Chicago Bears, many of their defensive backs, they were allowed to leave and sign elsewhere. But here's the tell, and you tell me if I'm right on this. All of the guys that left that were in the Bears secondary last season, a secondary that was terrible, a secondary that gave up lots of yardage and points and couldn't stop anyone, they all signed 1-year deals in their new spots. So did the Bears really do anything that wasn't correct by letting all of these guys go? Because it's not like they're signing big contracts elsewhere. And then they also signed Kobe Bryant from Seattle to be a part of the secondary. I think the biggest hole for the Bears would be an edge rusher like the Patriots, not necessarily the secondary.
Well, the secondary wasn't great last year, right? And I don't think it has to do with the idea that you let everyone go. I think that there's a good barometer for whether you make the right decisions is what happens to that player after they leave, right? Like the Chiefs traded L'Jarius Sneed last year, right? And it was sort of like, why would you do that? And 1 year later, the Titans cut him. Like, great trade, right? We see this often with Belichick, right? He traded all these guys. Like, why are you trading this guy? Why are you trading this guy? Why are you cutting this guy? And the next year, said player was cut by the new team. But I think when you look at the Bears, though, correct me if I'm wrong here, right? I mean, their defense last year was not good analytically, right? It just forced a ton of turnovers, and
it was opportunistic. Yeah,
but that to me is just not a sustainable method to sports. Like forcing the other team into mistakes, that just isn't. Especially because the mistakes didn't feel like it was the Bears rushing the passer and forcing like a strip sack, right? Or like forcing it just was like randomness of football that happens. And so they got to get better on defense in general. And you're right, pass rusher would help. So would obviously helping the secondary. But if they want to be the team they can be this year, they got to do that. I think they're a team that's just ripe for regression just based off of last season. I think Caleb Williams is really good. I think Ben Johnson's a great coach, but man, this team won 6 games last year where they were trailing with under 2 minutes left. That's 1-4 in most years, 2-3 at the most. 6-0 in the regular season.
That's pretty wild. And Jeff, you're right.
Six wins. Sorry.
For a gambling perspective on that, I think that's one of those things where if you're looking around the league and you see that stat that you just mentioned, and you also see that the Chicago Bears led the league in turnovers, I agree with you. That's what it sets up for a step back, because you can't predict the turnovers from 1 year to the next. No. Even with a great defense, you can't predict getting those type of turnover numbers. So I'm with you on that side when we look at the Bears. And then you could also kind of throw in free agency, they didn't really do much. They didn't really, I don't know if the team has a better roster today than, say, when you and I talked a month ago, the last time you filled in with Abdalla. Yeah. I don't know if the roster as of right now is a better roster. Now, I understand their direction, and we'll continue with the list. And we won't turn this into a whole long Bears conversation, but I do think that they're relying on the coaching staff, coaching up players that they have and those who they draft to then get the most out of them to replace some of these players. I understand the direction that they're taking. It's just, if you say your championship window is open, I think, and some fans would assume that following free agency, that after that year, you go out there and you add to the team. And it feels like that they kind of have less than what they had at the end of last season right now on the Bears roster. Next up on the list, the Tennessee Titans, and the biggest roster hole, a number 1 wide receiver. And I actually agree with this. I think Tennessee, one thing that we've talked about this week a lot, Jeff, is mock drafts are starting to trickle out.
Yeah.
And Tennessee sitting at 4. There were 2 separate mock drafts this week, one from Mel Kiper Jr., one from Daniel Jeremiah, both saying that Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame, will go 4th to Tennessee. And what I said to Abdalla yesterday was, what Tennessee needs a wide receiver. Wouldn't it be better to utilize that pick on a number 1 wide receiver than a running back? And this has nothing to do with Jeremiah Love. He might be a Hall of Fame player, but the need and also the worth of having a number 1 wide receiver is more beneficial than having a great back. How do you view that?
It's a great topic. So, there's always this debate at the top of the draft, right? Are you taking best player available, right? BPA. If you hear that, you hear that for BPA, or you're taking the position of need. And sometimes it's both, right? I mean, the Raiders, obviously, it's both, right? You get quarterback and position of need. But let's talk about Tennessee at 4. Let's say Jeremiah Love is available, okay? He's probably graded higher than any wide receiver, right? And those wide receivers, can be Tate, Lemon. I don't think Tyson will be graded as high as those 2 guys, but certainly, possible, the ASU kid. So if you're going strictly off a draft board, and a lot of teams do this, they just go, it's directly off of what they put together on the board, then you would take Jeremiah Love, right? And I could see Robert Saleh, defensive guy, saying, hey, man, he just was with Christian McCaffrey in San Francisco. Like, we got to get that guy. He'll help Cam Ward. He'll help us run the football. We'll throw the ball to him. He'll just do different things for us. He's higher graded. We have to take him. I had this discussion with someone in the Raiders front office because they drafted Aston Gentry last year at 6. And my argument to him, we talked about this. I said, hey, man, I thought that was kind of silly with your offensive line being terrible. Like, you can't use – I have a good relationship with him, so I could talk like that. But I was like, hey, your offensive line's terrible. Like, how could you drafting a running back and you're wasting a year at least of his career, maybe 2, without a good offensive line? He goes, but dude, he was easily our highest graded guy on the board. Like, we just couldn't believe he was there at 6, and the next guys up we had just weren't graded as high, and it's our general manager's first year, and we stick it with our board. Again, I don't hate the idea, right? Like I think that's a generally sound drafting idea. We've spent months and months and months putting together a draft board. Let's take the guys on our draft board in the order that they show up in. So I fully understand that concept, right? But I would take an offensive lineman last season. Like, that's what the Raiders needed. You could have gotten a starting offensive lineman and then addressed running back in another year, this year, whenever you wanted to do it. Those running backs feel easier to find than do offensive linemen. So I'm with you on like the idea of Tennessee drafting a wide receiver. But I'm telling you, man, Love's going to be graded much higher than Will Tate or Will Lemon. And I just don't know if they're going to go in that direction.
Yeah, and I think like a part of the conversation is like this idea of luxury items on each side of the ball. Because we've also seen safety, Caleb Downs, in some mock drafts, pretty high. And for me, I would rank a running back and a safety as your least important position on the offense and defensive side of the ball. Like, you need good players, obviously. Like that goes without saying that you need good players all over the field. But when you're spending and you're signing a second contract or a third contract, you don't want to be spending that money on a safety or a running back. You want to be spending that on a quarterback, a left tackle. You want to be spending it on an edge rusher or a shutdown corner. Like that to me is where I think it's a little aggressive, and Tennessee could certainly use a number 1 running back to finish up the list. Biggest offseason needs and remaining holes on rosters. This is from NFL.com. Jeff Schwartz is in for Adam Abdalla today. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. Tampa Bay is on the list. They need a pass rusher, and Jacksonville is on the list. They need help in the back 7. Do you have any opinion on either of those 2 teams trying to fix their situation here in the offseason?
Tampa Bay needs a new coach. What they need more than anything else. Tampa feels like a wheels falling off team this year. Like it just feels like it's gonna fall off fast.
They had such great vibes 2 years ago, though.
I mean,
Baker was back, the whole thing, and then Baker
games.
hurt his shoulder last year.
Baker's a year older. The whole team is a year older. I don't love their coach. They're on a new offensive coordinator, I think, again for the 7th year in a row. Right, new OC there, I think. Right, new OC because they fired the OC, I believe. So it's just Tampa needs. I don't just don't like the vibe of that. This older team kind of breaking down a little bit. Division's getting a little bit better around the edges. So not my favorite team, but yeah, they could use that position. But again, who doesn't need a pass rush, man? I can list 27 teams that need pass rushers.
Yeah, right. He's Jeff Schwartz. I'm Chris Bleck. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting small businesses with affordable coverage options. Quote today at progressivecommercial.com. The call and text line on a Friday with Bleck and Abdalla is 310-840-4910. Which matchup in the NCAA tournament, day 2, are we looking forward to most? We will talk about that coming up next.
Your bracket already in trouble. Your favorite team. Nobody's safe. From tip-off to the Final Four, we've got every game on the Westwood One Sports app. From your official home of March Madness, Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Jeff Schwartz is in for Abdalla today here on Bleck and Abdalla, hanging out with you on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Little NCAA tournament update, and it's now time for Fries with the Guys, presented by Five Guys. Nervous about your tournament picks? Don't sweat it. Five Guys has consolation fries no matter the outcome. Hand-cut and perfectly salted, they'll always make you feel like a winner. And, Jeff, the best part about Five Guys, you know what happens? You get the fries. They throw more fries in the bag. Just fries on top of fries on top of fries. It's fantastic. So here we go. The NCAA tournament at this moment, Kentucky leads Santa Clara 20-18, 7 minutes left in the first half. Midwest region, a 7-10 matchup. The other game taking place at this moment, Texas Tech and Akron. They just tipped off 4-3 early first half action, Midwest region, first round coverage. For all of your coverage of the NCAA tournament, go to the Westwood One Sports app. They've got it all right there. You can listen to the specific games. You can listen to the mixed channel, which takes you from game to game in different sites. And then we have a whole slate of games scheduled for today. Day 2 of the NCAA tournament, one of the best days in sports. And Jeff, when you're looking at the board of games today, is there one specifically that jumps out to you that you're interested in?
Well, let me look here. I mean, Alabama.
The one that I'm really fascinated in is to see what Miami of Ohio does against Tennessee. It's a 6-11 matchup. That game will be 4:25 Eastern time in the Midwest bracket. I want to see Miami of Ohio have success. I know it's unrealistic that they go on a deep run, but I do think the story of a team that, in air quotes, didn't play anyone all season, but they went undefeated for the most part. They lose in their conference championship game. They get into the first four, and then they're here in the tournament. They win in the first four, and now they will play a game in Philadelphia against Tennessee. I want to see if the Red Hawks can win a game here and move on to the second round of the tournament.
It does feel like when it goes bad for Miami of Ohio, it's going to go bad for them. Like, fast.
yeah.
Like if they lose today, it's going to be not going to be a small
blowout.
loss.
Yeah,
it's going to be.
I mean, Tennessee's a favorite by 11.5 points.
So I'm curious to see, obviously, how that ends up going for them today. I mean, I do think that they're probably going to. I think Tennessee handles business today, but I also thought that the SMU just did not play well. They had a huge size advantage in that game and did nothing with it. So I'm curious to see what Tennessee does today. That game is just look again. We've seen sort of the outside of Duke. A lot of the top seeds have pretty much had their way. I am sort of curious to see if this happens with Hofstra in Alabama today, because Bama's down one of their better players who's out today. Does that affect them? Does that affect the way they're able to play today? That's interesting, because I think if it is, then like the Duke situation, you have a guy hurt, you just don't play as well. That really fascinates me as well. St. John's in Northern Iowa feels like a complete grind fest of a game. So. And then the night games are just a lot of the big favorites, man. The night game is starting at 7:35. There's 5 games after that. Purdue's favored by 25.5. Florida's favored by 35.5. Kansas favored by 13.5. Connecticut's favored by 20.5.
Yeah, but you know how this goes, Jeff. Someone's losing out of that group. There's going to be a Cinderella out of that group.
I don't think so, though. We just have not. Maybe Cal Baptist wins, but we just have not seen that.
Oh,
We've seen some of the 12s win. We've seen some of the 12s win. There's no 13s or 14s or 15s that have really been close so far.
I want chaos tonight. I want multiple big dogs to go down. That's what I'm rooting for. Ross Sharon put on our rundown for today. What about the Ice-T matchup? Arizona against Long Island. How about that? Arizona Ice-T, a Long Island Ice-T? Facing off against each other.
The Ice-T matchup's huge.
Raj, that's great. I love that. If Abdalla would have made that joke, we would have ended the show. But you making it, it's fantastic. I love it.
I haven't done this yet, but I do think Arizona is going to absolutely destroy LIU today.
Oh, yeah. Arizona's the team we have going to the championship and winning. So I want to see them have a lot of success. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. So make sure you check out all of the NCAA coverage on the Westwood One Sports app. It's Fries with the Guys, presented by Five Guys. Nervous about your tournament picks? Don't sweat it. Five Guys has consolation fries no matter the outcome. Hand cut and perfectly salted. They'll always make you feel like a winner. So shout out to our great friends at Five Guys. It's Bleck Abdalla on a Friday right here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. If you want to join the show, you can call us at 310-840-4910. We go to Chris in Georgia. You're on with Bleck Abdalla. What's up, Chris?
Hey, morning. Good morning. I wanted to say in the tournament, I have Akron beating Texas Tech, and I have Akron going on to beat Alabama and go to Sweet 16.
Okay.
That's my Cinderella.
Sure. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate the phone call. Jeff, your thoughts?
I do not. I have Texas Tech winning by a lot today. So, I mean, look, the game has begun already. Texas Tech's up 6-3. Akron can't score. I'm not that surprised by that. Tech's played a little bit sloppy, but they look like, again, even without their best player, they look like the better team. The Big 12, man, it's a very physical conference, right? And Akron obviously has not dealt with that yet. They just blew a layup. I mean, Texas Tech has had opportunities to make this a 10-point game so far and hasn't done it. Now, of course, you let a team stick around like Akron and scores in the mid 80s, and that's the recipe for we saw with Wisconsin High Point. But Wisconsin doesn't play defense like Texas Tech does. So we'll see if Tech can sort of put the hammer down. You'd like to obviously put them away as soon as possible, but we'll see. I mean, Akron, again, when you can score like they can, you can win any game. The question is, do you have enough defense and physicality to play and rebound right against this Texas Tech team?
Call or text line is 310-840-4910. Mitch in New Jersey, you're on with Bleck Abdalla and Jeff Schwartz. What's up, Mitch?
Good morning, you guys. How you guys doing?
Good.
We're good, man.
Yeah, I'm not a Bears fan, but a big USC fan of Caleb Williams. Nice. Better be lucky than good. They kind of downsized that team a little. They let go of Moore, which I don't really like him anyway. I think they let go of a running back and a couple guys on defense. You made a good step. You got into the playoffs. Kind of favored to win the division again. It's going to be a great race. The team that has to do a lot, and they've done pretty good so far, is my Raiders, though. It's Mendoza, thank God. They didn't get the second pick. Next year's draft will be great, but hopefully we don't need a quarterback next year. I think you just got to keep hitting on the draft choices. I don't give you a chance to talk. I'm sorry. Thanks for taking my call. Go Arizona.
All good. Thank you, Mitch. Thanks for the phone call. Mitch in New Jersey.
USC Trojan fan?
Yes, he did. Fight on.
New Jersey?
Yes, in Jersey. There's also one talking to you right now in Chicago. Fight on.
Oh God. Oh boy.
You and I have discussed this before. You're a Duck.
I did not.
I am not a Trojan.
That.
I didn't go to USC. I went to an art school in Chicago, so I don't have a team. But it was the team that I enjoyed when I was younger. The Pete Carroll years, I really was a big fan of, and so I'm a USC Trojan fan as well.
There seems to be a concerted effort this year on the internet to make USC spring ball seem like it's the greatest team of all time. So I'm very looking forward to them not winning a big game for the 4th straight year in a row. So
are they going to play any defense this upcoming season?
Goes. Okay, so we don't have to do this. We can do it now. Why not? Okay, USC signs Gary Patterson to be their defense coordinator.
Yep.
Okay. He sort of hasn't been good in a while calling defense.
Yep.
Let's be honest. Why do we have to lie to ourselves? I know he's a Hall of Fame coach. I get it. So is Bill Belichick. It doesn't mean they're good at their jobs anymore. Actually, in Carolina's win total is too low, but nonetheless, Gary Patterson has not been a good defensive coach in 10 years.
See, but is it an upgrade to what SC has had in
Danton
the
Lynn's
last
pretty good
handful of years?
My thing has always been, you take on the personality of your head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And USC's head coach
Fraud.
favors passing the ball and favors not really. I don't think they have the toughest, most physical practices.
Nope.
I've seen the Oregon practice, I've seen the Georgia practice, a Bama practice. I don't think that's how USC practices. And you can be good. You can bring in the best defense coordinator you want if you don't practice hitting, practice tackling, put the pads on, hit each other, like full contact practices. You're not. Yeah. It doesn't matter how good your coaches are. And I don't know
especially in the secondary, right? Like there are so many situations where USC corners, safeties, they are just back there in the secondary and they don't try to tackle at all. And Jeff, that would lead me to believe what you're telling me is that they don't practice it because on game day they don't hit. And they're soft up the middle as well. And Lincoln Riley I don't know if he's quite the guy that everyone thought he was. And he seems to be scared of everyone. And we could point to the conversation. I know that we didn't schedule a USC conversation today on the show. But the fact that you don't want to play Notre Dame anymore because you're worried about your schedule in the Big Ten is the softest line of crap I've ever seen in my life. And so that's our USC Minute. There you go. Jeff Schwartz is in for Abdalla today here on Westwood One Sports. Let's talk about the MVP in the NBA coming up next.
Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Welcome in to Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. I'm Chris Bleck, joined today by Jeff Schwartz. Played in the NFL for 8 years. He comes to us from Charlotte, North Carolina, joining the show in for Abdalla today. You can listen to us on Sirius XM Channel 375 and all of our great radio affiliates around the country. We're on the air until 3 Eastern. We have the call and text line on a Friday. All calls welcome on the Bleck and Abdalla show at 310-840-4910. Day 2 of the NCAA tournament. And you can find all of our great coverage on Westwood One Sports right there on the Westwood One Sports app. And Jeff, here as we get started in hour number 2 of the show, the NCAA tournament today, the 2 games are going on right now. Good matchups. Texas Tech and Akron, and also Kentucky and Santa Clara. Both good games in the first half right now in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, in the Kentucky game, it's about tied right now near halftime. You know, we saw the West Coast Conference yesterday sort of not play very well. St. Mary's got blown out. And then, you know, Gonzaga had their issues early, and that game, the score ended up maybe being closer than the final second half was. So Santa Clara keeping this game close early on is pretty impressive, considering, again, that conference, I think, struggles a little bit come postseason time. The other game, look, I mean, Texas Tech is just a lot better than Akron. I mean, Akron is surviving right now on unsustainable three-pointers, and we'll see that they're up 7, so is Tech right now. I mean, look, if I think they're 3 for 3 from 3 is Akron right now. So obviously 3 for 4, I should say, from 3.
Yeah,
They
3
only
for
made
4.
6.
They have 17 points. It's 24-17, 9 minutes left to go in the first half.
They made 6 baskets. They're being they've been out rebounded by 7. They're not turning the ball over, which is good for them. They have 0 assists so far in the game. It feels like a recipe for a little bit of disaster if that's what the game plan is for Akron here against a Tech team that, again, is missing a top end, but still it's just a very talented basketball team, right? And a lot to prove. After the injury, I think they lost 3 in a row after that. So a lot to just sort of prove for them right now.
Yeah, and Santa Clara right now up 2 on Kentucky, 31-29, about 30 seconds left to go in the first half. So it's a good matchup. That's a 10-7 matchup, 31-29 in that one. So you can catch all of our coverage on the Westwood One Sports app. You can listen to the individual regions, so you can go to each different region on your own in the app. And then also, Jason Horowitz bounces you around to the different locations and the good games and the close matchups and the buzzer beaters. He has that channel as well, all on the Westwood One Sports app, doing a great job with all that coverage here on Westwood One Sports. Last night, the Los Angeles Lakers beat the Miami Heat 134-126, and Luka Doncic had 60 points. He had 40 points the night before, as the Lakers now have won 8 straight games. They're third in the West, and Luka Doncic, as of late, has shown why he's the best player in the league. And I feel like the opinion on Luka is kind of this, Jeff, is that when we look at Doncic and what he's accomplished to this point in the NBA, he was the wonder kid, right? Like he was this phenom prospect as a teenager from overseas. He steps onto an NBA court and is immediately one of the 10 best players in the league. And he's been in that grouping his entire time in the NBA. But then the conversation has shifted from how many titles can Luka win to how many MVPs can he win to will he ever win an MVP or will he ever win a championship? And then obviously the trade that went down last year, where it's still insane to me that the Lakers were able to pull off that trade and the Dallas Mavericks gave up on Luka Doncic. And we can add all these different layers to the conversation. His ability to be in shape, where he clearly looks like he's in shape right now, and he is just tearing teams apart. 60 last night against the Heat, and the Lakers have won 8 in a row. Can Luka do enough here at the end of the season to make a run at MVP? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the leader in the clubhouse right now. He is likely to be the guy to win it. Can Luka do something here at the end of the season to kind of get enough votes and to win the award?
I think if he misses one more game, he's out anyways, which is kind of silly.
Yeah, he's got to play.
I get the purpose what the NBA was trying to do with that. I just think that's sort of misguided.
Oh, it's so stupid.
Because there are guys that are going to miss time for legitimate reasons. Can he win the MVP? I don't know, man. Probably not. But if he plays like this for another 2 weeks and 3 weeks, and the Lakers I think they're pretty much set as a 3 seed. I mean, if that is the case, potentially could do that. I think SGA probably has it wrapped up. He's had another great season. He broke the scoring, the 20-point game record. I will call myself an NBA casual. Okay, I'm a Lakers fan. I grew up in Los Angeles. I'm a Lakers fan. I have a certain amount of brain power, for sports.
Yeah.
A lot of it is spent on football, very clearly, right?
Sure.
And when football's over in February, I sort of turn my attention to college basketball because it's a little more known. You sort of know what you're getting in college basketball. NBA, the tanking, sort of the given night, who's playing, who's not playing, right? It feels like when you get to the postseason, it's a much different sport. I watch all the postseason basketball, NBA basketball. I watch all of it. I consume it. It's a great product. It's a great product in the postseason. And so, some of the things in the regular season do frustrate me. And the SGA foul thing, and I know, look, it's the game. Like, I can't fault them for playing to what the officials are going to call. But, man, it's hard to watch as a casual, buddy. It is hard to watch.
It's brutal.
And, again, I don't want to take that away from him potentially win MVP again. I thought Big Fella should have won last year. and didn't get home last year. But I
Jokic.
I think SJ is going to win again, and it doesn't really matter what Luka does.
Yeah, right now on let's see, right now on DraftKings, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the favorite. Then Luka, Wemby, and Jokic. I believe we talked about this the other day, and Luka was listed as 4th. In fact, we may have even talked about this yesterday. And so Luka is now jumped to second on the list for the favorite. He's now at plus 1,500 to win MVP. And I believe like either yesterday or 2 days ago, Luka was number 4 on the list behind Wemby and behind Jokic. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's too late for Luka to win the award this season. If you just look at his last month in the NBA, he's averaging 37 points per game in the month of March. He's played in 11 games. So here are the scoring totals in the month of March. He's gone 28, 27, 27, 44, 35, 31, 51, 30, 36, 40, and 60. So he's got multiple 40-point games. He's got a 50 in there and 60 last night against the Miami Heat, where he shot 18 of 30. He also made 9 3-pointers. And he got to the foul line 19 times.
Yeah.
He made 15. And to your point, as far as like a casual sports fan watching basketball, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander can make the case that he's the best player in the league. And you can make the case that at this moment, he should be the face of the league. He's the best player on a team that won the championship and they're the favorites to win again, to go back to back. But his style of playing basketball is not fun to watch. And Jeff, that's why Jeff Schwartz filling in for Abdalla today. I totally get your point of not being really interested in what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is doing night to night, because it does feel a bit phony or cheap.
But he's so talented though. Like that's
he's so talented, but when you drive to the basket and you're throwing your body into defenders and then flailing away, that's not fun to watch. And it's a herky jerky game flow to it. And when you see someone like Luka Doncic, who's essentially he dribble, step back 3. And it's just smooth. It's just a better way to watch a game when you compare the two styles.
Well, it certainly is. And again, I mean, we're not knocking how good SGA is, but yeah, there are different styles of play. Obviously, one feels more aesthetically pleasing than the other one does. Put it in context what Luka did last night. That was a back-to-back too, right? They won late in Houston, got to Miami. I mean, I would imagine that's one of the best games in NBA history on a back-to-back. I mean, that to do that, especially now.
Oh, yeah. Combined 100 points. I'm sure there's not many who have done that in league history.
I would doubt that's in league history that's been the case, right? So very, very impressive from Luka last night. Look, the Lakers, I don't know if I want to believe that they have the capability to make a playoff run. I think that what LeBron has done, whether that's with the help of JJ Redick or someone in his ear, like, hey man, if you just step back a little bit, right? You'd be the third guy. You let the guys in front of you make those plays. It's working, right? They would get Denver, and Denver has dominated them in the postseason. I think the Lakers have won like once in the last 3 series with Denver. I'm gonna look it up right now. It's been brutal. So it's not the best matchup just historically for them, but they're playing much better basketball as a group, and so I'm kind of curious to see sort of how this ends up going for Lakers this postseason.
Yeah, they are playing better, and I think the games, they weren't back-to-back days, but they were back-to-back games. And they were the 2 games this past week against Houston. I thought that those were statement games. The fact that they showed up in both of those outings, and Houston's a good team, but clearly there's something behind the scenes going on. Whether or not it's a direct result of the text leakage of Kevin Durant around the All-Star game, all that drama that took place.
Yeah.
Right. Remember that story where he was allegedly dogging his teammates and other players on the team. And like, if that's true, it does feel like there's something bubbling below the surface with the Houston Rockets on whether or not they're going to be a cohesive unit that can actually win in the playoffs. And the expectations are there. And I thought that the Lakers going in and winning back-to-back games on Monday and Wednesday on the road against Houston and really taking it to them. And Luka in the fourth quarter of the second of those games was just essentially unstoppable, scoring the 40 points. But when he got that three-point shot and it led to a timeout at the end of the game, he turned around and looked at the crowd and was jawing with the crowd. It did feel like the Lakers made a statement. And I think your opinion on the way that they've played to this point this season is fair because they've been a soft team. They've been bad defensively, and it did feel like a little, it's going to be my turn this possession, LeBron, your turn this possession, and back and forth, and whose team is it, and all this stuff. And you're right. It does feel like LeBron in the last couple of weeks, maybe not necessarily taking a step back as far as his personality goes, but he is, like a couple nights ago, he was playing good defense, and he's diving on the floor, and he's making plays, like hustle plays. And, like, if you got LeBron James doing that as your, like, second best player, like, you're going to be really tough to beat in the NBA playoffs because Luka can take a team all by himself and get to the finals. Like, we've seen that in the past. So if you just give me LeBron James at 70%, 75%, I mean, he still can play. This isn't like a guy who's at the end of his career who's just out there for name only. Like, LeBron is still a very, very good player in the league, an all-star level player. And so if you get that out of LeBron and you mix it with what we've seen from Luka Doncic in the last month, I mean, a month ago, I would have said that this team was going to be a play-in team. And now, since that point, and the 8-game winning streak, they're third in the conference, and I think they have a chance to win a first-round series.
I just hope it's not against the Nuggets, who it seems like they're going to be locked in. I mean, they've won one of the last 2 years. In the last 2 years, they've won one game against them, and the difference obviously is they got Luka who can close games now, right? LeBron is at the point where that's not really his game anymore. He's 41 years old. They need someone else to do that, and you put Luka in there, and you obviously have the Reeves as your complement in there as well. Like, you have those guys all together, and you're right. LeBron has decided to sort of take a different role, and it's been pretty impressive to see him do that at this age. And so, there's some defensive issues you mentioned. They got to work those things out, but if you keep the game close, you have Luka, man. Like, that's such a big advantage for any team.
Yeah, it is, and there was like a loose story in the NBA over this season that like. Luka Doncic went X number of games without a game-winning bucket. I don't know if you saw that stat. It was like he went some crazy number of games where he didn't make a shot in the final seconds to either tie or go ahead. And so people started to kind of doubt, like, maybe Luka doesn't have that, like, killer instinct or the clutch gene type of thing. And then like 2 weeks ago, he buried that shot on the baseline. What was it, against New York, I think? To go ahead to win. And it was like, oh, yeah, that doesn't matter. Luka can do it, and he's a killer, and he's fantastic. I just think for the MVP this season, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will end up winning it, and Luka will come in either second or third because I just don't think there's enough time. I don't think you can play your best basketball in March and April and just win the MVP. You got to be there for the rest of the season as well. Coming up next, we will fill in the blank with Raj as Jeff Schwartz fills in for Adam Abdalla today here on Bleck and Abdalla. What's the best signing or trade so far in the NFL offseason to date? We'll fill in that blank coming up next. Every March, the tournament delivers the unexpected. This year, DraftKings Sportsbook is leaning into the chaos with a mystery reward. When you're set to the place to bet and select your mystery token on the bet slip to use cash or DK dollars to lock it in. Opt in today at DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code BNA. That's code BNA for Bleck and Abdalla to opt in and to claim your mystery reward at DraftKings Sportsbook. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. Must be 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. One reward per customer. Rewards vary and expire at the end of the final college basketball game. Each tourney round when offered. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos for more details.
Want to be alerted for every close game or when it's going to overtime? Download the Westwood One Sports app and allow notifications. We'll alert you to turn the outside noise down and crank the game up from the Westwood One Sports app and Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Broadcasting live each and every day from downtown Chicago. Jeff Schwartz is in today for Abdalla. He's in Charlotte as we span the country and we bring in Raj Sharon in Colorado for Fill in the Blank with Raj. Hello, Raj.
Hello, Bleck. How you doing today? Jeff, how you doing as well?
Good.
We're great.
Good. It's a beautiful Friday. Let's do this.
It is a beautiful Friday, and let's do a little fill in the blank. We're going to start with you, Jeff. The best signing or trade so far this offseason is blank.
Yeah, it's Trent McDuffie going to the Rams.
Ooh.
This really was an impressive. I think both sides get a win on this trade, but the Rams needed one specific thing in the draft or free agency, whatever you want to use for when they picked that need. But that was secondary. Right? We saw last season that they were good until they weren't at the end of games when they needed some stops on defense, right? And the pass rush was there for the most part, and they just needed secondary players. And they went and got McDuffie, who, again, you just not going to find Trent McDuffie's in free agency, right? So let's use our late first-round pick. Let's trade for an all-pro to position a need. Yes, we have to pay him. I get that, but we need that player. That's the position that we need the most. And they fixed that. And to me, they're Super Bowl favorites, which they are obviously on the sports books. But that was a specific need of theirs. They went and made that position that much better.
I love that pick. That's a good pick, Jeff. I love that. I'm going to go with Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans to the San Francisco 49ers. Raj, that's my favorite move here in the offseason. It's the best signing or trade. The fact that Mike Evans is joining.
Considered. You're still
I'm
sticking
cool
with it.
You know what's funny is locally here in Chicago, I saw a story online earlier today that they're looking into adding a substation not too far from where Abdalla lives. How about that? Is that irony? Is that the way we would say it, right?
My
Is that the word for it? Is that they are looking
karma, destiny
on the north side of Chicago. They're looking to add a substation in Lincoln Park, which is not too far from where Abdalla lives. So we'll see what happens there, Jeff. Abdalla, the entire time that this show has existed since January 4th, he has been obsessed with the San Francisco 49er injury situation.
Yeah.
Yes, and the electrical substation next to the practice facility.
I mean, I think it's a bunch of nothing that's been there for like 40 years. I just think it's very convenient. I mean, the Niners weren't injured like 3 years ago, just conveniently now when they get hurt, we talk about it. I did find some of the memes though with Mike Evans signing there kind of funny. There was one that had like a turkey, like the turkey meat falling off the bone. Saying like this is the Mike Evans hamstring, the electrical substation. So I've enjoyed the internet. It has some wins every now and then. It's good.
Yeah, so I'm going to say Mike Evans, Raj. What's next?
All right, next up, fellas, we just talked about Luka Doncic. Luka has a blank chance of being the NBA MVP, Bleck.
Okay, I'm going to say a 40% chance to be the MVP. Now, I laid it out 10 minutes ago that I think it's very difficult to win the award in just the final 2 months of the regular season. And Luka and the Lakers, they don't have a lot of time left to do it. But if anyone else is going to win the award now, outside of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I think it's Doncic. I think that's it. I don't think Wemby's going to win it. I don't think Jokic is going to win it. Who knows if Cade Cunningham will play enough games to win it. So I think it will come down to Shai, and it will be Luka. And so I'm going to say, because of that, I'm going to go 40%.
So We don't have an official prediction market sponsor here, right? I don't want to get some hot water. Everyone's signing with prediction market sponsors.
No, go for it.
Okay, well, so Kalshi has 14% for Luka right now, and obviously that's just people making wagers. It's not like a sports book setting a number, but I mean that feels more. I was gonna say like 20%, 15%.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like more for me. I just don't think there's much of a chance. I mean, SJ gets hurt maybe. I just don't see that much of a chance happening here.
Yeah, I would guess that Doncic would have to reel off, like, for the next 2 weeks, every game he plays would have to be like a Kobe Bryant 50-game performance type of thing. Remember that run that he had that year that he lost the MVP to Steve Nash? And Kobe was scoring like 50-point games like every other night. And he clearly was the best player in the league, even though they gave the MVP to Steve Nash. I feel like Luka to have to do something like that to then actually win the award. What's next, Raj?
All right, next up, fellas, if the Vikings wanted to go with Kyler Murray and Carson Wentz, the best trade spot for J.J. McCarthy is blank. Jeff?
Oh, jeez. Oh, man. I mean, you could do like the Niners rehab school. You just go to like the Niners and sit behind, maybe Mac Jones gets traded. I have no idea where it makes sense for him. I mean, every spot is filled right now. Maybe you would say like, oh, you could go play for the Jets, but you don't want to play for the Jets. I'm not sending him to the Jets. So I have no. What do you think? I got no idea.
Yeah, I do. I understand the angle that you're going towards, where he would be traded to a team where it's like a quarterback rehab situation. We were joking last week that we keep saying that about Kyler Murray, that he needs a quarterback coach to rehab him. And I had to keep clarifying, like, he's not going to rehab. He's going to quarterback rehab. So, yeah, maybe it's San Francisco. Maybe it's Los Angeles. Because, like, I'm just looking at where are those head coaches who are quarterback gurus, and isn't one of those guys Kevin O'Connell, who's there in Minnesota? So I think if you had to find a team, right, which is not a good thing. I would say that if there's a team that needs a quarterback who doesn't have one to take a flyer on a young kid, it would be Arizona. That would be the only team I would think of that could make a move for JJ, and maybe in a fresh start, he has some success. I doubt it, but I would say Arizona would be the only team that jumps out to me.
All right, next up, guys, Duke should feel blank about yesterday's win. Jeff?
Surviving events, baby. That's all that matters this time of year.
I'm going to say relieved. They should feel relieved that they got through the game yesterday against Siena, and that Siena didn't have some magic in the final 5 minutes because they ran out of gas at the end of the game. And to be up by 13 and to have the lead into the second half, it was cute for a minute. But then Duke showed up. You know, the powers of Coach K is always lurking in behind the scenes. I'm
Duke.
It's my team, my court, John. Don't lose early in the tournament. I'm Duke. I'm going to come over and coach. We love Coach K here on this show, Jeff, if you haven't
Chicago's
realized.
own.
Smarmiest coach in history. Yes. What's your major, student reporter?
All right, back to the NFL, guys. Most of the big name free agents are gone, but there's still a couple names out there. Budget signing. It's like you joked earlier this week, Bleck, the $1 DVD bin at Walmart or whatever. All right, the free agent I'm most surprised that's still available on the market is blank. Bleck?
I'm going to say Kirk Cousins. I don't think he's a good quarterback, but he's a good backup. I'm surprised he's still available, and he hasn't signed somewhere as a backup. And maybe it's his ego, and his ego suggests that he should be a starter, and so he's holding out thinking that someone's going to come to the conclusion that he should start for them. But I'm surprised that Kirk Cousins is still out there. He should be a backup somewhere.
Who? I don't even know. I thought in my head who would even qualify for this.
Juwan Jennings, Joey Bosa, Stephon Diggs.
A list right now.
Deebo Samuel.
I mean, I would say that Steelers not really signing Aaron Rodgers back yet is fairly interesting. you would figure he'd find they just make that happen now. What's Pittsburgh going to do?
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, next up, guys, lost in Luka Mania. LeBron last night tied Robert Parrish for the most NBA games played, 1,611, and did it against one of his former teams, the Miami Heat. So I ask, peak LeBron James is when he was playing for the blank. Jeff?
Oh, he was his best, I think, in Miami, but I think he probably played his best in those Cleveland championship years. Like, I think he was the best version of him was probably in Miami, but I do think the best, like, winner / mentor / all those things like to help winning. I think that happened in Cleveland.
Yeah. Yes.
Does that make sense?
It does, because I think the best I've ever seen LeBron James play basketball was when he was the villain, and that was when he was with Miami. And when he went into Boston, and I think he went 45, 15, and 5 in a winner-go-home game, and he ripped their souls out of every person that was sitting in the Garden. And he just demoralized that team by himself when he was playing with the Heat. That was the very best that LeBron ever played. Now, Jeff, you're right. The teams and like what that Cavs team that beat the Golden State Warriors in that 7-game series with the chase down block and the Kyrie 3 and all that stuff, that team was better. Because like historically, if you look at it, they were better, and so was Gold. Like they were two of the historically great NBA teams. But LeBron, the best LeBron ever played was when he wasn't all buddy, banana boat, friendly guy on the court. It was when he was feeling the heat for the decision that he made, no pun intended, in choosing the Miami Heat. Remember that year and a half where, like, after they lost in the finals and they were mocking the Mavs, and then they lose the finals, they got all the heat for, like, maybe the combination of all the guys teaming up isn't going to work. And then they went out that next season and they were just slaughtering teams. And like LeBron seemed angry. And that's when he played his best basketball, is during that timeline. So I'm going to say when he was with the Heat is when he was at his best.
By the way, Bleck, credit for a double pun. You said LeBron feeling the heat about his decision. Well done to work in heat and decision. Multiple puns. I respect that. I remember that Boston game you referenced.
Yeah.
I feel like that was around the time that the big three were like trying to play nice with each other. And at one point, LeBron was just like, you know what? Forget this. I'm the best player in the world. I'm just going to be the villain. Yes. And then he was like amazing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Totally
absolutely.
Remember that.
And with the puns, every once in a while, a blind squirrel finds a nut, Raj. I didn't do that intentionally.
I give you credit there. All right. And finally, guys, after their loss, second straight year, they go out in the first round. North Carolina blank make big changes. Bleck?
They should. They should make big changes, and they should fire Davis and hire a new head coach. And it seems like they may not do so. And, Jeff, you're in Charlotte. You're in the Carolinas. Yeah. What's the local feel for what took place yesterday with North Carolina losing to VCU?
So there are a couple of reasons I don't do local radio in Charlotte, and one of them is I don't want to talk college basketball 24/7. And so I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen to Hubert Davis. I will tell you though, it's not that they lost, it's how they lost. And then it's his words after the game. I don't know if you saw them, but just like sort of nonchalant, not taking responsibility, just sort of like, if you're a fan base, you see those quotes and you're just like, that's not the right guy to be our coach, right? Like that, I think, is more almost impactful than a loss. You're going to lose games, right? But how they lost, they scored 3 points the final 8 minutes of that game. That includes the 3 minutes of regulation and then the 5 minutes of overtime. They don't shoot foul shots very well, which feels like a coach thing, right? It was ugly yesterday. So I've not turned into WFNZ today. I don't know what we're talking about as far as North Carolina Tar Heel, but I imagine that the Tar Heel fans are not happy.
And that does it for Fill in the Blank, fellas. That's it.
Fantastic. Thank you, my man. There's Raj Sharon. He's in Colorado, parts unknown. in Colorado.
Oh,
Jeff Schwartz.
Is he in the mountain? He's with NORAD.
Yeah,
He's
deep
like
with the Sasquatches and all that good stuff,
he's in
man.
That big mountain there, where all the secrets are. NORAD secrets.
Yes. Oh, yes. The aliens, the military secrets, and whatever's going on with the airport out there.
There are a lot of military secrets where I'm in Colorado Springs, and there are a lot of military secrets where I'm at.
Isn't the fence of the Denver airport like goes inward, not outward? It's like that's what.
Dude, there's so much crazy stuff with the airport. You can go watch conspiracy theory videos about it on YouTube.
The horse statue with the red eyes.
That's Blucifer. We call him Blucifer. Dude, the dude who made it died. You can go read about it. Like the sculptor, it fell on him while he was making it.
Oh, wow.
And he died. Lucifer. It's crazy.
All right, so
Jeff, do you know what I'm talking about? The big statue as you drive into the Denver airport?
Yeah. So I have my wife has a good friend who lives in Colorado Springs, and so I've been a couple times, and I landed, and then we drove up to the top of the mountain there. Yeah. And I almost passed out. It wasn't great. It was.
It's tough. It's tough if you're not used to the altitude.
Altitude sickness is a real thing.
It's real.
Come on, Raj, give us the number. What is it? 5280?
5280, baby.
See, I know.
5280.
I know.
The Nuggets only wear those uniforms 17 times a year.
They put it on the front of the
on the
Broncos
court,
helmets
too,
now. It's on the Nuggets
bumper,
court,
on the
and now it's on the
bumper,
front of the Bronco helmets. Yeah.
I have a strong uniform take. As I went to Oregon, so I know uniforms.
Of course.
Our women are playing right now, by the way, and they're wearing the brightest shoes of all time, and it's very distracting. I do not like this, but nonetheless, is that like in the NBA playoffs? I want your regular uniforms.
It's funny you mentioned that, Jeff, because this is kind of notorious. The Nuggets won their title, their only title they ever won a few years ago in 2023, wearing their city editions. They're in their city editions like a one-year uniform.
Terrible.
When they won the title.
It's terrible. That's terrible. And I would take it one step farther. I would say shoes. Like team-colored shoes.
I mean, as a big-footed fella,
it makes a difference.
I want comfortable shoes, so I don't know if I can agree to that.
They can get shoes in any color. You don't need, if you are a team that wears red and black, you shouldn't be wearing neon green shoes. You see what I'm saying? Like that,
they want it to stand out. That's why they're doing it.
I am also of the opinion too, like the home team wears the light color and the road team wears the dark color.
Yes.
I know some sports are different. Like hockey's different. I think hockey's flipped, right? The home team wears the dark color. Baseball tends to be the home team wears the lighter color. But again, it's like now they have all the alt uniforms, right? So. The regular whites are, not worn as often as I'm a Giants fan. We have a black and an orange and a city uniform and it's a lot.
Well, Jeff, I texted a few weeks ago Bleck and Abdalla because they're Bulls guys. The Bulls city editions, which didn't even look like the Bulls to me. I was like, what are these?
Are those the ones?
I think they wore them last night.
The pinstripes?
No, they're like they've got blue in them, so they're like I don't know. They're stupid.
Why?
They're terrible.
Why are they blue?
They're trying to celebrate the river or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, it's always got a clever marketing thing around it with the city editions.
The Bulls are the only team in the NBA that's never changed their logo. Don't change the uniforms.
Really?
It's classic. Yeah. The Bull head logo has been the same from day one, which is pretty sweet.
Now, I will say there are some teams that I like their city editions better than their regulars, like the Phoenix Suns, my Nuggets. I actually like a lot of their city edition uniforms, but I understand the principle you're saying, Jeff, of when you get to the playoffs and
in
deep
the playoffs,
just wearing the main one. I get it.
To wear the main one in the playoffs. It's not. I feel like it's not that much of it. It's not that hard of a rule to follow.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. Jeff Schwartz filling in for Abdalla today. Sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting your business vehicles 24/7. See if you can save at progressivecommercial.com. What's going on with the quarterback room with the Minnesota Vikings? We'll talk about that next.
It's tourney time, and you'll hear every game, every upset, every unforgettable moment on the Westwood One Sports app. That's the Westwood One Sports app. This is March. This is your home of the NCAA tournament. Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Jeff Schwartz filling in for Abdalla today on Bleck Abdalla, hanging out until 3 Eastern. And Jeff, the last time we talked, since that point, since you were on the show, Kyler Murray decided to sign with the Minnesota Vikings to be their quarterback moving forward into this upcoming season. It's a 1-year deal, and it really threw into flux on what the quarterback room will be and how it's going to change for the Minnesota Vikings. We got news this week that Carson Wentz is signing in to be a backup quarterback as well. I'm guessing at this moment, the depth chart would be Kyler Murray, J.J. McCarthy, and then Carson Wentz would be the vet third quarterback who's good in the room, who in a spot start could help you out. But do the Vikings plan on keeping J.J. McCarthy long term? And that's where we get this situation with the Vikings. Jeff Schwartz in for Abdalla today. It's Bleck Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. What do you make of the quarterback room now and the quarterback situation now with the Minnesota Vikings?
Okay, this is so fascinating to me. If you have an open competition, okay, you've watched enough football. You can probably answer this question for me. Open competition. Yeah. Who do you think is better in practice on the first day of practice?
Kyler Murray.
Who's better on the 10th day of practice?
Kyler Murray.
Who's better on the 30th day of practice?
It's going to be Kyler Murray.
It's going to be Kyler Murray, right? So you either have to say McCarthy's our starter, end of story. You're here to be the backup. And you're going to get all the second team reps, and McCarthy get the first team reps, and we're going to do it that way. If you do this open competition where you do this 4 reps with the ones, let's say you get 8 reps a period, typically 8 to 10. Let's say you go 5 with McCarthy, 5 with Murray. Well, Murray's better. It's going to look better, right? It's going to look better. So what's the objective? What's the goal of this signing? Is it to be, if he's going to be your starter, great. He's better than McCarthy. I do not disagree with that. No one's going to argue that. But you drafted a quarterback who needs time to get better. And you have not given him the time, whether that's because of injury, which is certainly fair to say, but he's not had the time to develop yet. And if you want to cut him loose, that's totally your prerogative, and it sounds like that's what they're going to do. I don't disagree with that idea, by the way, that they're going to get rid of him. But this competition thing, to me, just feels like a farce. And competition in general, I think, is sort of a farce for the most part. But Murray's the better quarterback, right? So it's not really an open competition. It's Murray's job or McCarthy's job. You have to choose who that's going to be. You want the better quarterback now, Murray, or maybe the better quarterback later, McCarthy. I think they go with the better quarterback now, Kyler Murray. And I do think that he will get the job. It is interesting how when we're talking about this job, no one really is sort of excited for Kyler Murray per se. Everyone just keeps saying like, "Oh, the offense is good," and Kevin O'Connell and the O-line and Jefferson. It's not like, well, Kyler Murray does this well or that well. It's more just like, oh, this is a good offense. In the past, quarterbacks have played well in this offense. It's funny how that's sort of framed. It's not framed around Kyler Murray maybe being so good, but he's much better than McCarthy, man. And I think he'll be good in this offense. Again, it's sort of Murray's hit or miss, right? That's why he's inconsistent, and it's why he's no longer on Arizona. But it does feel like this is a better quarterback than J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, and to your point, it's not like, I think the thing that I keep pointing to is I think Kyler is a better prospect than what Sam Darnold was. And if Sam Darnold has turned into the player that he has turned into, in part based on what he learned in the system that Kyler will now be in, I'm only assuming Kyler will play his best football with the Minnesota Vikings at quarterback. And so I think that there is unlimited potential to be tapped here with Kyler Murray and Minnesota Vikings. I think the fact that you have a quarterback who can extend plays with his legs and or utilize that in the schematics of the offense, but also a quarterback who can throw the ball. He can throw the deep ball. He can make all the passes. He's done it before. I feel like what tends to happen in the conversations around Kyler Murray is that people kind of take the way they view Tua Tagovailoa and assume that both quarterbacks are the same. Tua really hasn't had any success for an extended period of time in the NFL. He just hasn't. Kyler has. He's been good for many stretches in his career. It just hasn't worked. They haven't won a playoff game, and it didn't work out, and the coach gets fired. Like, I get why he's no longer with the Cardinals, but this isn't someone like Tua Tagovailoa where you say, hey, he's going to come in and compete, and we'll see if he can win it. I mean, like you said, day one, stepping into the facility, Kyler Murray's the best quarterback on the team.
Yeah, it's not even a question of at all. Like, that's not a question at all. He's better. And that's why I think you have to make it very clear what your objective is here. And I also think, just practically speaking, having a situation where you have essentially like a half and half. If I'm a player, right, and I want to get comfortable with the quarterback, I sort of need that to play with that quarterback, right?
Right,
the quarterback
right.
needs to play with me, and you don't get that when you split reps, right? You're splitting reps. People say, well, then the twos are more ready. I mean, who cares if the twos are ready? The twos aren't going to play. The ones are going to play. So, I got used to the
I feel like that's such a small-minded fan thing to worry about. What about the twos? And from a professional football player who's like, who cares about the twos? We got the starters that need to be ready.
There's a famous Tom Moore quote, Peyton Manning's former OC, who said, like, do you ever let the backup take reps? And he says, we don't practice effed. Like, you don't you don't practice not having your quarterback, right? You might give a guy a rep or two, but like, you don't practice not having your offensive line. You just, I mean, if guys go in, they go in. We get that, but it just feels like it's just tough to do this two quarterback thing. So I hope they decide early. If it's Murray, it's Murray. If it's not, it's not. But like, decide sort of early, and then from there, I think you build your team around that.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. Jeff Schwartz filling in for Abdalla today. We're sponsored by Robinhood. You can expect more from yourself, expect more from your money. Learn more and get started today with Robinhood at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. When I look at the Vikings outlook, Jeff, though, for the NFC, I mean, the NFC is stacked. There are a lot of teams that are going to have playoff aspirations and a chance to go after a Super Bowl this upcoming season. And the division itself, the NFC North, with the Lions, Packers, and Bears, you have 4 really good teams. And then, we can kind of fan out and look at all the different teams in the NFC. But I think this Vikings team, the expectation for next season should be getting to the playoffs.
Do you know how many wins they had last season?
It was, 8 or 9?
9.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll double check my math there. Oh, yeah, 9 and 8. So like we were right there. They're well coached, man. They got good personnel, well coached. Would not surprise me if they continue to play well with Murray in there. It would not surprise me at all. Again, win totals just came out in the NFL. I've only bet on one. I mean, it's hard right now without the draft and sort of figuring out where that sells out to make some of those wagers. But by the way, it's a Jets under. If you're curious, if anyone's curious what I bet on.
Yes.
So the Vikings to me are, most teams are sort of within the 7.5 to 9.5 range. That's where they slot most of the teams.
Yes, absolutely. And hold that thought, Jeff. We'll be back here on Westwood One Sports.
One Sports.
Sorry about that.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Welcome in. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. I'm Chris Bleck, joined today by Jeff Schwartz, filling in for Abdalla. He's live in Charlotte. I'm live in downtown Chicago. Thank you for listening to us on SiriusXM Channel 375 and all of our great radio affiliates around the country. We're on the air until 3 Eastern, and then Jim Rome will take over right here on Westwood One Sports. It's a Friday. All calls welcome, and you can always call and text us on the call or text line at 310-840-4910. We have day 2 of the NCAA tournament taking place right now. Day 1 yesterday, the Thursday and Friday of the tournament. We have a lot of action taking place today, and you can find all of our coverage on Westwood One Sports on the Westwood One Sports app. You can listen into the individual regions. You can also listen into the mix feed, which Jason Horowitz will bounce you between the competitive games and the big moments and everything taking place around the NCAA tournament. So make sure you download the Westwood One Sports app for all of your coverage of the NCAA tournament. And Jeff, as we get started here in hour number 3 of the show, the games taking place right now in the NCAA tournament. Kentucky is up by 3 on Santa Clara with 4:47 left to go in the second half, 67-64. Texas Tech is up 9 on Akron with 15 minutes left to go in the second half. That's 52-43. Arizona on Long Island University. So Arizona's up 29-18 about 9 minutes ago in the first half of that game. And a contest that just tipped about 5 minutes ago, Virginia and Wright State facing off. That's a 9-8 ball game with the Cavaliers with the lead. So we have day 2 of the NCAA tournament taking place right now.
A couple of these games feel a lot closer than they're actually being played. The Tech Akron game, I mean, Tech's just played better. Akron just sort of kind of just staying alive somehow. I mean, Tech is shooting 59%. They're getting as many points as the paint as they want, and right now Akron, has one of their bench players has 17 of their 43 points. And Scott averages I think 10 a game. So 13 a game. So so he's not like it's that far off. But like when you have a bench guy getting 17 points, that typically tends to end. And then LIU they only can make threes. And so if as soon as they stop making threes, I think Arizona is going to be able to win this game by a lot of points. That these sort of make sense here. An offensive foul in Arizona. I too many offensive fouls in this sport. I just don't.
Yes. If you want to get into things that irritate the living blank out of Chris Bleck, it's basketball players who think that the best way to defend is by just jumping in front of someone driving to the hoop and then flailing backwards. There is nothing in basketball, Jeff, that annoys me more than dudes who just run into other dudes who just flail backwards, looking for the call of an offensive foul. Like, I get it when it's legitimate and it takes place and an offensive player just bowls over someone else and they're out of control, yeah, it should be a foul. But when you are the defensive player and your only strategy of playing defense is just falling backwards, you should not be rewarded for that.
No, you should not. I also don't think if you have a bad possession and there's like 2 or 3 seconds left of possession, and as an offensive player, you just throw yourself into a defensive guy to layup attempt, that should be a foul. Now, understand that, not it's not going to be perfect. Every official's not going to notice the clock running down, but that gets me way too much. There might be a bird in my house. I ain't gonna lie.
I was gonna say, okay. First of all, Jeff, I don't know if people are aware of this. For the Masters, that CBS and the Masters broadcast, they pipe in fake birds onto the broadcast.
I did not know that.
Are you aware of this? Did you? So the bird. So when you watch the Masters, right? It's that tranquil, peaceful, right? And it looks perfect. The birds that you're hearing, those are fake birds. They're not real. It sounds like you're sitting at Augusta right now. I can hear the birds.
Well, 2 birds are living in my garage.
Is that really in your house?
Yeah. Well, so 2 birds are living in my garage. That I know because I see them every time I open my garage in the morning. They fly out.
Okay.
And they fly into the windows, like they're trying to get out. Like I noticed that.
Sure.
It does sound like one's in my house, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I mean, do you have the windows open? Because
I have.
Could just be a beautiful day.
The sliding back door's open a little bit, so the dog go in and out. But it sounds
friends.
like it's happening now. I can look. I can just pop my head out the door. I got to get off this mic for a second, but it feels like it's right outside the door.
Go look if there's a bird in your house. Go take a look. Hello, friends.
Hello, friends.
Jim Nance in Butler's cabin, wearing a jacket. Raj, do you want to wear a jacket and eat some cheese sandwiches?
Yeah, it's right there. It's right there. It's right outside my door.
It's in your house?
Yeah, it's on. So I'm on the second level, and the chandelier is right outside my door, and for front entryway, it's right there on the chandelier.
What type of bird is in your house?
Like a little baby one, a little baby bird, not like an actual babe, like a smaller bird.
Shouldn't this be a bigger deal? Do you need to go take care of this?
It'll work itself out eventually. It'll leave.
It'll work itself out.
This has happened before.
Tradition unlike any other. Birds in Jeff Schwartz's house.
I don't think I would be as cool if there was just a bird in my house. Now, here's the difference.
What am I going to do about it?
You painted a picture of a very nice-looking bird, I guess, like a small
I'll take a picture of it if you want.
Like a finch or something. Yeah. Send us a picture. If it were my situation in Chicago, if we leave the door open, sometimes the dog wants to go back and forth onto the deck and take a look at what's going on in the alley. The bird that would be in our house would be a pigeon, and I would have a different reaction than you. You're definitely maintaining your composure, and it doesn't seem like the bird in the house is bothering you.
I think it's a finch. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Finch. Yeah. What am I going to do about it? You may get a net, my pool net, and get out the house right now? I mean,
what will happen after the show?
Eventually. It'll fly out
Okay,
eventually.
so you're just going to let it fly out?
It doesn't make noise now. I don't know where. Maybe it went somewhere.
Fly away, friend.
It's not the first time, obviously.
It's amazing. This is incredible.
But
Raj, are you aware of the cheese sandwiches and the fake birds at the Masters?
I had heard about the fake birds. I did not know about the cheese sandwiches.
Oh, they got cheese sandwiches. It's pimento cheese
pimento
sandwiches.
cheese,
It's a big deal.
It's like $1, right?
Yeah, it's a big deal. And all the wrappers are green, so when people litter, you can't tell on TV because it blends in with the grass.
That's smart.
Yeah.
I have heard the prices for the food at the Masters are very reasonable.
Yes, they are.
You heard
but
about
then
that?
when
Yeah.
you but the deal is you're spending like $3,000 in the gift shop because everyone wants gear from the Masters, and all of the gear in the Masters gift shop is extremely expensive.
I'm looking right now. The pimento cheese sandwich, $1.50.
Yeah.
Egg salad,
$1.50.
$1.50.
Yeah.
That's very reasonable.
Yeah.
You also can't have your phone
Tuna
out.
salad, $1.50. Turkey sandwich,
Yes.
$1.50.
You got to put your phone away. You can't have your phone out while you're walking the grounds.
Yeah.
We got all kinds of Masters facts. When we get to that
Ham
point,
and
Jeff,
cheese on
here
rye
on the
for
show,
$1.50.
Yeah. Yeah.
On rye?
And the peach ice cream sandwich
Wait,
is a
time
big
out.
deal.
A ham and cheese on rye?
It specifically says that on your
That's
menu.
the wrong
Ham and
bread
cheese
for
on
that.
rye.
It's Jeff. You can't argue with these Masters people.
It's the only sandwich that has the bread specified.
I like rye
on the
bread,
menu.
okay? I'm a rye bread fan. Corned beef pastrami on rye bread. Like
Yeah.
I'm for the
with
rye
the yellow
bread.
mustard. Ooh, baby, that's good.
But you have to use the deli mustard or the spicy
Yes.
mustard. A little
Oh, yeah, okay, all right.
I'm not. That's an interesting choice. Rye bread for that? Interesting.
Oh, yeah. Hey, listen, if there's one show that has useless facts about the Masters, it's the Bleck Abdalla show. So I can't wait till when we get to that point here in a couple of weeks here in the spring. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Jeff Schwartz with a bird in his house, filling in for Abdalla, hanging out with us until 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on Westwood One Sports. To update the NCAA tournament, we were running through some of the games that are active right now. It looks like Kentucky-Santa Clara will be the game that finishes first today. They've got 2 minutes left in this contest. It's 68-67, Santa Clara with the lead over Kentucky. So we'll let you know when that game goes final. Here on the show, Jeff, we have a bracket challenge. Bleck and Abdalla taking on Raj Sharon, our producer. Raj has his own bracket. We have our own bracket. We call it Beat the Raj.
Okay.
That's usually where the sounder goes. Beat the Raj, right? So, Raj, we are taking you on, and I believe at this moment, because we don't have any new games finished to this point, as we're waiting on Santa Clara and Kentucky, we are right now tied. After day one, each of us on our two brackets, we have 12 wins for the two of us. Is there anything you're worried about today, Raj, when it comes to your bracket?
I'm worried about all of it, Bleck, because not that I don't have confidence in myself, but again, I
Because
took on
I'm
the
just
Avengers
worried.
here. You had so many different voices all contributing to this, and now Schwartz is in on it as well. I just feel completely
is
ganged
aware.
up upon. Completely ganged up
hey,
upon.
It's how we. So
this is
Raj,
unfair.
we both have Kentucky. So if Santa Clara pulls out the win and they beat Kentucky here as they're under 2 minutes.
Yeah, we're both down. Yeah.
We both get knocked out of that situation. So we'll keep our eyes on Beat the Raj.
Did you have
here, Bleck and
Kentucky
Abdalla.
advancing beyond, or did you just have them winning one? Because
Just
that could
winning
help
one.
me.
Yep.
Okay, so
Nope,
it doesn't really
just
help
winning one.
either way.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, both brackets have Iowa State to advance if they face off against Kentucky. So for all of your tournament action, tournament needs, make sure you check out the Westwood One Sports app all day long. We've got great coverage, and we're covering the entire tournament right there the Westwood One Sports app. Jeff, I mean, this is really one of the best times of year is these 2 days. A lot of people call off work. It's one of those situations where if you are at work, are you really working today? You're either listening to us, you're watching the games, you're listening to the play-by-play on the Westwood One Sports app. It's really one of those great days to kind of not do anything other than watch college basketball.
I mean, people can accuse me of not working today too, as I do this now. I got Kentucky who just rimmed out a three. I got a TV above my computer screen, so I got the 4-box on YouTube TV going there. Obviously, I got the computer screen. We got you up here. I got the scoreboard as well, just to kind of take a peek, even though the games are all sort of on right now. And I got the Oregon women's game on my iPad in front of me. So I have all of the games happening all at once. Got my phone here in case I want to put a handy-dandy wager in right here. I need Arizona to continue to win and Tech to continue to play well here. So Kentucky just had a ball go out their hands after a miss from Santa Clara. This would be a pretty bad loss for Kentucky, considering that the West Coast Conference appears to not be very strong, right? We saw who was it yesterday got smoked? Who smoked St. Mary's yesterday? They got smoked yesterday. And,
it was Texas A&M.
Texas A&M smoked them.
Yep.
And then, Gonzaga was okay against what scoreboard am I looking at? Gonzaga was okay against Kennesaw last night. So, to lose to the West Coast Conference when again, they haven't looked great would be indictment on Kentucky. You can't get a ball. Oh, ball's out. Oh, they call timeout. I'm great at play-by-play, as you can tell.
Yes. As Santa Clara and Kentucky are going down, they're about 24 seconds left in that game. Second half, Santa Clara leads 70-68, and Kentucky's calling a timeout. I believe they had the ball, right? Are they awarding the timeout to Kentucky?
They should. They never lost the ball. I mean, what's funny is that they actually really.
Because there was a scrum on the floor. Kentucky had it. So it'll be Kentucky ball off of the next timeout. So we'll let you know when that game concludes, and you can check out all the play-by-play coverage right there on the Westwood One Sports app. Jeff, one thing that we've been talking about here on the show as a theme in regards to the NBA as of late is Steve Kerr a couple of weeks ago in a post-game conversation made mention that the NBA is playing too many games, that 82 games is too many in the regular season, and that they needed to cut like 10 games. Do you think Steve Kerr has a point based on looking at this season and looking at all of the injuries that have taken place, the latest to an MVP candidate being Cade Cunningham with the collapsed lung? We don't know how long he'll be out. He'll be evaluated in 2 weeks. We see Anthony Edwards. He'll be out with a knee injury for 1 to 2 weeks. Players who have missed a lot of time this season already. We talked yesterday about Giannis battling a knee injury. Jason Tatum, the torn Achilles, he's back playing now, but he missed most of the season. And there's a few guys with the torn Achilles from last year. Tyrese Halliburton. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has battled injuries as of late, but he's been playing. Jokic, Wemby, Jalen Williams. What do you make of all the injuries taking place around the NBA and the amount of games that they're playing and putting the stress on their body?
Yeah, so I think a lot of this gets traced back to the early age these players are on a court now, right? A lot of these guys start very early, and they play that travel ball circuit, and it's just a lot more wear and tear on their bodies much earlier than ever before, right? That to me contributes more to this discussion than the games played, right? They've tried their best to limit back-to-backs and give guys more rest, and they're obviously letting guys load manage and whatnot, but to be able to quickly, Kentucky scored here, tie game at 70. Santa Clara, game-winning three, set shot, and he made it. So 2 seconds left for Kentucky here. Yeah.
And he made it. More excitement than that, Jeff. He buried that three-point shot.
Kentucky just banked in a three to tie the game. I don't know if it's going to count. Oh, my God. From right past half court.
73-73. If the three goes for Kentucky, this game's going to overtime. If they count the bucket, it's about half court where the three was shot from.
Stepped over. You get one dribble a second. So there was 2.8 seconds left after Santa Clara shot. It's more just the set shot kind of threw me off there, like a game winning set shot.
They had a great out of the score play for Santa Clara coming down and
that
getting
ball's way out.
The 3-point shot.
Wow, wow.
Yeah, so this game's going to go to overtime. Yeah, the ball's out. About halfway on the flight when the backboard lights up and the time runs out. So Kentucky, Santa Clara going to overtime, 73-73. And if you want to listen to overtime, you can flip over to the Westwood One Sports app. They will have all of the live play-by-play coverage of this contest. First game of the day gets to the end of regulation, and it's going to overtime. So it's fantastic. Let's take a listen to Steve Kerr. Here's Steve Kerr talking about how the NBA should cut its schedule down.
I know this will not be a popular opinion in the league office, but I will continue to say it because it's obvious we need to play fewer games. We need to take 10 games off the schedule. I think it would be great for the league. And I get it. It's revenue, and you'd have to get everybody to agree to take a little less money, and that's a really hard thing to do. But what I know about the league, about coaching, about how hard it is to play the modern game with the pace and the space, I think it would be a more competitive and healthier league if we played fewer games.
So that was Steve Kerr. I think it was about a week ago. And just to recap, Kentucky, that bucket did count. So end of regulation, Kentucky, Santa Clara, 73 all. They will be going to overtime in St. Louis, in the Midwest region of the first round of the NCAA tournament. So that was Steve Kerr talking about how the NBA should cut its schedule down. Jeff, are you aware of the Jack Hughes winning goal from the USA winning the gold medal controversy? How that puck? Are you aware of where the puck is located?
I know it was located in the back of the net to win the Olympics.
Yes. Yes, there's more to this story, and we'll tell you about this coming up next. DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 sportsbook live for betting, is built for March. The tournament is unexpected. Rewards are guaranteed. DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering the most generous rewards in the market with DraftKings, the #1 sportsbook for live betting. And you're not betting what might happen. You're betting what's happening. New to DraftKings, just bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code B&A. That's code B&A for Bleck and Abdalla. And turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets instantly. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. Must be 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bonus bets are non-cash credits that expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer ends April 5th, 2026.
Your bracket already in trouble. Your favorite team. Nobody's safe. From tip-off to the Final Four, we've got every game on the Westwood One Sports app. From your official home of March Madness, Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will be in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Jeff Schwartz filling in for Adam Abdalla today as he celebrates Eid. Eid Mubarak to those who celebrate. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. So, Jeff, a couple of weeks ago, we had the end of the Milan Cortina Winter Olympics, and Team USA in hockey won the gold medal for the men's side and the women's side. And the men's team, there's a controversy brewing over where the game-winning puck went. The Hockey Hall of Fame has not given Jack Hughes the puck, and they are going to keep it. And initially, it seemed like Jack Hughes was annoyed and not happy with that decision. I believe he was quoted in saying that's bull blank, that the Hockey Hall of Fame has it, is the quote that he told ESPN on Tuesday. Well, on Wednesday, he changes its tune. In the New York Times, Jack Hughes was quoted in saying that he's now honored that the Hockey Hall of Fame has the puck and it's in a special place. Should the game-winning puck from the Winter Olympics for the men's side, should it go to the player or should it go to, say, the Hockey Hall of Fame and the country celebrating hockey?
So the question I have is this a World Hall of Fame or it's a USA Hockey Hall of Fame? I think
it's just the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Which would have to be in Canada, right?
I actually don't know.
Well, the logic it's in Toronto.
Okay.
The Hockey Hall of Fame is in Toronto.
Okay, so I can
it's a tough one, right?
I understand if it was an NHL game, even like what do they call the Four Nations, like sort of what's kind of
Four
put
Nations,
on in conjunction with the NHL. Like this is the Olympics. Hockey Hall of Fame. I don't know if I agree with the puck going to the Hockey Hall of Fame in this instance.
Well, I would say this. This is the way it works. In my viewpoint in watching hockey, if you are dead set on getting the puck that is the game winner, you better be thinking about that in the moment. Because what happens is if there's celebration on the ice and everyone's throwing their gloves and the sticks and everything's all on the ice, no one's going to go get the puck for you after the fact. You have to go get it and hide it because that's the only way. And I believe, like locally, I think there was a situation with a game-winning goal with the Chicago Blackhawks in the 2010s where Patrick Kane scored a goal. And if people remember the way it went down is as he went by the net, the broadcast and no one in the arena knew that Kane scored the goal to win the Stanley Cup.
That, yes.
And the only indication that the puck went in the net was because Patrick Kane himself started celebrating and you could see him skating away, putting his hands in the air. Meanwhile, no one else on the ice or in the arena knew that the puck went in. I think there was in Chicago a controversy where like someone went and took the puck and then they couldn't find it type of thing, if I remember correctly. So to me, it's like if our buddy Jack Hughes wanted the puck, he probably should have went and taken the puck in the moment.
So you see this in baseball in the final out of the World Series. They put it in their back pocket, right? They put it in their back pocket. And so that is what you'd have to know. Obviously, he's celebrating. I get why he's not taking the puck out. And certainly, Canada's goalie is not, it was the Bennington's not grabbing the puck out for himself.
Right.
But I did see like Hellebuck, he kept his stick, because he was on a podcast showing like the puck mark of that save he made. So you're right. If you don't grab it immediately, it goes. But I don't know if the Hockey Hall of Fame should be with the Olympics. I don't know, man. I don't know if I get if it happened in NHL or
the bird's back. You told us during the commercial break that the bird left. The bird is back.
I think he's back. Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, I'm gendering it to he. I guess. There's two in the garage. I think they're partners. Obviously, it feels like they're partners. But guy feels very back. Really like he's back.
He's co-hosting
on the chandelier.
He's a part of the show.
I figured my dog would scare him away. Like what's the point of having that big German Shepherd if he's not going to scare away the baby bird who's hiding in our house? We had birds before, man. It's just you have to just coax them. Like you got to get them. You got to coax them out there. You got to open some windows, and it's a beautiful day too. I don't know what it is. We're in Chicago.
Oh,
but it is.
It's a great day. It's 66. The sun is out. It feels like we might be past winter, but in Chicago, winter lasts until May. But today's a day. Today's a day you want to be outside. So
we had fake spring.
Yes, the
already
Masters music. Yes,
we had fake spring in Charlotte already, where it. So fake spring was 2 weeks ago, and then on Monday it was 42 degrees. And so this weekend's supposed to be 90 again. And so we've got past fake spring. So now I feel like we're sort of into spring now. And it's the weather, like I said, 89 on Sunday. My daughter's got 3 softball games. It's gonna be hot. But
it's gonna be a good time. I will say this, Raj just alerted me. We hit our hockey allotment for the month with the Jack Hughes Puck Talk. I just want to make sure that Raj, we're okay. We're going to move on. We suffice the hockey conversation there for at least the month of March?
I think we've gotten a good fair amount in here, fellas. I think so.
Okay. Yes, as we keep it moving here on Bleck Abdalla on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Jeff Schwartz filling in for Adam Abdalla today. Jeff, last time you were with me, it was 3 weeks ago. It was before all of the movement took place in the NFL as far as trades, free agency, and all this stuff. I do want to give you props because when you were with me on this show, you told us that DJ Moore was going to get traded. You told us that you didn't see him being with the Bears next season, and you were dead on right with that. And you pointed it out, and you gave us some insight to the situation. And now DJ Moore, 3 weeks later, will be with the Buffalo Bills as the number one wide receiver and target for Josh Allen.
Yeah, the DJ Moore thing in Chicago, it just felt like, you're going to have bad plays, right? We all have bad plays. But the mental part of it, right? Like not running the right route. Sometimes there's a lack of effort, it feels like, on the route running. Like those things are sort of not acceptable, right? We all make mental errors. I mean, excuse me, physical errors. They're going to have. I remember, an offensive line coach used to tell me, the defensive line gets paid too, right? Like, we all get paid, right? Well, but the mental stuff, right? Like, it's not his fault that they lost that game, right? But he just didn't flatten his route out enough. He just didn't do the little detail that mattered a lot in that play. And those things eventually just add up. And so if you get a draft pick for him, go ahead. Buffalo, look, man, they spent a lot of money on wide receivers. Do you know where they rank in wide receiver spending in the NFL?
It's like second or third, right? Behind
it's
the
two.
Rams?
Yeah. No, behind the Bengals.
Okay, so it's Bengals and Rams, and then...
No, Bengals, Bills, Cowboys.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, think about the Cowboys have a franchise tag guy, right? And they have a
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb. And then the Bengals obviously have Higgins and Jamar Chase. So, those are the and that's that's and they have DJ Moore, and who's not like a great number one option. So he's more like a 1B or even a 2. And I don't know if the Bills are just chasing that wide receiver help. I don't know if I love it, but you got to do what you got to do to make your team better. So, but Moore I just felt like it was unsustainable for him to stay there, considering the way that season ended. And it's not his fault they lost, right? But in the final play of the game, you didn't run the right route, and that's the end of it, right?
Yeah, and I think that one play though is not something that was the first time that's happened. And I think that's where, from my perspective, being a fan of the Chicago Bears, there were multiple times in the last 2 seasons where DJ Moore was doing stuff like that. And you wonder, and a part of the conversation then is, as we play it forward, how will that work with Josh Allen? Will you see, or will Bills fans see, that even though DJ Moore has a lot of talent, and you can give him the football in any formation, you can even hand him the ball out of the backfield, and he is a tough dude to tackle, and he gets yards. But at sometimes there's like a lapse in focus in his ability to just follow along with what he's supposed to do. And I think that's something that it'll be interesting to see as the number one wide receiver for a team that's trying to win a Super Bowl with the best quarterback in football with Josh Allen. I wonder, how do you think that will fit together? Because he's by far their best option, and he would have been their best option last season. So, the Bills finally get a number one guy. But there are some, negative aspects to his game.
Yeah, it's not gonna go well if in a big moment he doesn't do what he's supposed to do, right? I mean, that's the question, right? I have not really liked the Buffalo offseason. To be honest, so this sort of fits in that mold of not really liking what they're doing. Right? Are they a much better team than last year? I don't think so. And DJ Moore adding him doesn't make me feel like they're that much better as a team. And the money they spent for that room, as I mentioned, I don't like the coaching decision to fire McDermott all you want, but Joe Brady. I mean, when you just keep Joe Brady, it feels like you're telling everyone that Sean McDermott, it was his fault for the reason why and I don't think that, now there were certain flaws he certainly had, but I don't think it's his fault that the Bills have not overcome the hurdle. I do think that something had to be done. I tweeted this when it happened after the Bills loss. They can only have so many of those before it breaks your team, right? And it felt like this was the last one. Like the reaction from the players in the locker room, from Josh Allen to Deion Dawkins, it just, you heard the emotions. Like that they do something different this season. And I'm not sure McDermott was the something different, but they do something. They had to do something.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff Schwartz in for Adam Abdalla today here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Bleck and Abdalla each and every day, noon to 3 Eastern, hanging out with you. We do have a final for the first game here in the NCAA tournament today. Kentucky wins 89-84, final in overtime. So Kentucky advances in the Midwest region. We'll update the rest of the scores and what games are we looking forward to most today, day 2 of the tournament. We'll do that next.
Want to be alerted for every close game or when it's going to overtime? Download the Westwood One Sports app and allow notifications. We'll alert you to turn the outside noise down and crank the game up from the Westwood One Sports app and Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
We're on the air today until 3 Eastern. 17 minutes from now, Jim Rome will take over right here on Westwood One Sports. Jeff Schwartz is in for Adam Abdalla today. Make sure you check out the podcast of the Bleck and Abdalla Show on Apple, Spotify, and Odyssey. And also make sure you like and subscribe to our new YouTube channel, Bleck and Abdalla Show. We live stream each and every day, the show right there. Also new content posted daily right there to our YouTube channel, Bleck and Abdalla Show. Thanks to Raj and to Shay for producing today's show. And Jim Rome coming up at 3 Eastern right here on Westwood One. This is how the game sounded at the end of the second half. Kentucky, Santa Clara on Westwood One Sports. Well, Jeff, it was a big finish.
Yeah,
it was back-to-back three-point shots, a buzzer beater. As the final that's in is Kentucky wins. They advance 89-84. So here is how it sounded on Westwood One Sports.
Oweh has 17 of his game-high 24 in the second half, but Kentucky hasn't had a field goal in 4.5 minutes. Far side left wing Chandler lobs to Oweh, right side switch on Ensminger, spins inside, layup good. 9.9 seconds. Tie game at 70. Santa Clara out right to left. No timeout. Gavalugov high right wing, works down to the arc, throws to Graves, right wing three for the lead. It is good! 2.4 seconds. Sedek wanted timeout. Kentucky the other way. Oweh for the tie. Banks it in from 35 feet. Otega Oweh saves the day for Kentucky. He banks it in from 35. Graves for three, Oweh for three, back and forth in the final 3 seconds, and we go to overtime to start the day in St. Louis. Kentucky 73, Santa Clara 73.
There you go. There's the call on Westwood One Sports. Kentucky moves on. They win 89-84 after they go to overtime. Kentucky outscores Santa Clara 16-11 in overtime. But the end of the second half was probably the most chaotic, best moment so far here in the first 2 days of the NCAA tournament. You can listen to all of our tournament coverage on the Westwood One Sports app. But, Jeff, as we were sitting here talking and watching the action, the three from Santa Clara on one end, and with less than 2 seconds to go at the end of the second half, Kentucky coming back down and banking in a 35-footer. That was a great finish to kind of get to overtime in that contest.
What a game, man. I mean, this is why we love the March Madness, right? I mean, it looked like Santa Clara was mostly in charge of that game, and all of a sudden they weren't, right? And Kentucky took over, and wow. I mean, it was the half-court heave. You get 2 dribbles, right? You get 1 dribble per second. He got up in time, which makes like Ohio State, the first game yesterday, like their last possession, just so even worse, even more atrocious. Like it's just you know what you have to do in these situations, and you have to get the ball up and get an opportunity for a shot. So Texas Tech looked like they're about to go final. This game was 66-62, I want to say, and it's gonna finish 90-70.
Yeah, it was a 5-point game at halftime. And here in the second half, Tech has just ran out. It's 91-70, 25 seconds left in the second half. So Texas Tech will advance. And here on the show, our bracket challenge here on the show, Beat the Raj.
Yep. Beat the Raj.
Yes, Raj Sharon producing the show from Colorado, parts unknown, each and every day here on the show. Raj has his own bracket. Bleck and Abdalla, we have also a bracket. Head-to-head, we're just counting how many wins we can get in the tournament. To update our bracket challenge here with Beat the Raj, we both had Kentucky winning, and we both have Texas Tech winning. So right now, we are even. That would put us at 14 wins apiece here as day two kind of gets started. The other games taking place right now in the NCAA tournament, Arizona is up 53-29 at halftime on Long Island. And then the other game that is taking place also at halftime, Wright State, 43-38 over Virginia. Wright State's the 14 seed, Virginia the 3 seed. So Wright State right now up by 5 at halftime.
So I took a
beat the Raj. Yep. Yeah, that's fair.
I took a piece of Virginia, by the way, if anyone wants to get in on it, -5.5 at halftime.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certain indicators. I look at a couple things, right? I want to look at 3-point shooting, turnovers, rebounds, right? And Virginia's out rebounding them, okay? But Wright State has made 8 3-pointers. They're 44%. I looked it up. They average 21 points a game from 3-pointers. So they're above their season average in 3-point field goals at halftime. And like that to me is just a sign of eventually it ends. Now look, could they make another 16? I mean, another 8 and get to 16? I mean, I guess things happen. Maybe I'll lose weight one day. I mean, things can happen. It certainly can happen. But this is like the opportunities I look for. I'm not saying I'm the best gambler of all time, but like you have a Wright State team that's shooting way over their skis in the first half of this game. If I lose because they shoot over skis again, so be it. I'm okay with laying the 5.5 with Virginia here.
Raj, how do you feel? We now have 2 games in the book officially for today's action. Tech has now won 91-71 over Akron. So we each, on each of our brackets, we had Texas Tech and Kentucky. So we each get a point there. So now 14 apiece. Beat the Raj. Raj has 14. Bleck and Abdalla, 14
This is a little
wins.
close, little too close for comfort. I don't know how I feel here.
Good.
Tied.
It's pretty good. I think, yeah.
Beat the Raj.
I think for the bit, it would be a disaster if it was one side blowing out the
That
other.
is true. That would have been. I mean,
one.
can you imagine if Duke had lost yesterday? I mean, I specifically picked them to win purely so we could do the Coach K voice. That was my whole motivation in picking them. No, look, I didn't pick
What's your major?
Like a 16 seed to win because the bet. Like I picked the number 1 overall seed to win, so I didn't go out really on a limb. But make no mistake, the motivation was I'm Duke. I mean, that was the motivation, and they almost lost yesterday. I was going to be like, well, Beat the Raj is going to be out halfway into day 1.
Jeff, I'm Duke.
Beat the Raj.
So we'll keep you updated. On Monday, we will let you know how we stand with Beat the Raj as this will take place throughout the Final Four.
Well, you guys are going to unmercifully make fun of me next week because I'm not going to be here, and you're just going to lay in. I'm not going to be here to defend myself, as if I was there to defend myself and Beat the Raj when you kept bringing on college basketball expert after college basketball expert to give you more intel into how to beat me.
Well, and
Beat the Raj.
And Jeff, I don't know if it helped because we had all the experts helping our bracket. And we're tied after day 1 in the first 2 games today. So for all of our great coverage of Westwood One's coverage at the NCAA tournament, go to the Westwood One Sports app. You can listen to the individual regions. You can listen to the individual games. You can also go to the mixed broadcast where Jason Horowitz bounces you between the action around the NCAA tournament. It's Bleck Abdalla, sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Save on commercial auto insurance from Progressive. Get a fast quote at progressivecommercial.com. Jeff, before we go and before we hand it off to the Jim Rome Show, did you see this week that the New York Mets are offering up for their fans at Citi Field this year the 999 challenge? Are you aware of what the 999 challenge is for baseball?
I believe I saw it was a beer, a hot dog per inning So
yes.
nine beers, 9 hot dogs, 9 innings?
Yep, 9 beers, 9 hot dogs, and 9 innings. But now, so like this used to be a thing that fans would just do on their own. But now the teams are getting behind it and supporting and promoting their own 999 challenge. So the Mets this week announced that they will have a 999 challenge. Have you ever attempted such a thing? The 9 beers, 9 dogs, 9 innings at a baseball game?
Well, I don't drink beer, so that would be a no.
Sodas? 9 sodas?
Buddy,
I mean, a lot of soda.
I could do diet soda. 9 Coca-Colas or Pepsis, I would be in the hospital with the sugar coma. I don't know if it's like if I need a shot to help my body survive that. No, I mean the hot dog thing. Okay. Here's the thing. I saw the box that comes in. I would imagine that.
Yeah.
You can get the beer cold, right? Like, or you have to get it. It just comes all at once. You have to sit there and drink the 9th beer 2 hours and 30 minutes later.
Yeah, so when I've been with people who have attempted this, you go back to the concessions and you get more. Like, I've never been with someone that's been a part of like a team-sponsored promotion doing this. I've just been like with the rogue agents who are just doing it for the fun, for the love of the game, crushing beers and eating dogs at a game. And so you get a few and then you go back up and you get a second round. You don't get all 9 beers at once because you're right. Seeing the box, like they hand you the 9 beers and the 9 dogs all at once. And that to me would be nasty because the hot dogs won't be hot anymore and the beers are going to be warm. And you don't want to be drinking a lukewarm beer when you're in the 6th and 7th inning trying to fight this 999 challenge.
Correct. So I would imagine that if it's that way, then I think that would be okay. But I mean, what a rough day at the park, man. 9 beers, 9 dogs.
I once tried to eat as many dogs as I could per inning. Like there was like dollar dog night at the White Sox game, and I went. And what I did was I think I got through 5, and I went to the mustard. I asked for a cup of water. And instead of putting water in the cup, I went to the mustard and I just put mustard into a cup and I was just dipping the hot dog into the mustard. And then like by the 4th and 5th inning, I was like, okay, this is not for me. This is not healthy. This isn't good.
No, I feel like none of that is ever going to be good in your body. I'm at the point now where we were driving today with my daughter and she said like, Dad, all you can eat is sushi. And I was like, I can't do that anymore, babe. I'm sorry.
Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate you hanging out. Jim Rome and the Jim Rome Show is coming up next right here on Westwood One Sports.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds.